Hi, it's Debbie Williams here, and today I'd like to talk about stopping obsessive and negative type thinking. Now, interesting enough, on my OCD CD, gosh that's a mouthful isn't it, I put a story that I weave into the trance about a young chap that came to work with me, and he did something that's not uncommon. At a young age he had this weird thought that, oh, my parents are going to die. And he was only about 5 years of age. And at that age, he did some sort of ritual. And of course, his parents didn't die. But he believed that he'd saved their life. And he grew up with this, doing ever more weird rituals and bizarre behaviours that he was driven to do. And he came to see me because he wanted to actually learn to drive, which was a bit difficult because he had to touch every single lamppost on the way home. So as you can imagine, that'd be a little bit of a challenge. And if he didn't do it, it caused him immense pain. And what had happened is his brain had grown up with the belief, well, if I don't do this particular strategy, then my parents are going to die. So what I did with him is I took him back to when he was about 4 years of age and got him to sort of explain to that 4-year-old that's not quite how life works, and got him to grow up with a new insight. And that was the start of scratching that record so that he was able to be much more empowered. Now, it took a little bit of work. Sometimes with OCD, it's not a 2 to 3 session job. But one of the reasons I've recorded quite a few products, there's the OCD one, there's the Stop Worrying, Create a Wonderful Life, Heal the Heavy Heart, Heal the Inner Child. There's a great number of CDs that I've recorded that can strip away layer upon layer, because basically these CDs are like a therapy session in a box with an opportunity to listen to them over and over, so you're able to get more than just a one-to-one because of the repetition. It's conditioning the thinking to update the files really. And sometimes we get locked into having bizarre thoughts. And I remember another lady came to see me who'd just recently had a baby, and she was having all of these thinkings that I'm going to hurt my baby. And she was a nurse, and it was the last thing that she'd ever do. And I explained to her, well, what's actually happening here is your brain is so protective of that baby. And she was so worried that anything bad could happen to that child that she was seeing the movie of bad things happening to that child. And then she was asking the question, oh, could I see myself doing that? Stupid question. And then she was seeing a movie of herself harming the baby, which, as you can imagine, was highly distressing to her. So again, we're scratching that record for her, reinforcing her that her mind was actually trying to do something positive for her by saying, look out for this little one, protect this little one, but it was overreacting and actually doing tremendous damage to her self-esteem and self-belief. So again, sort of working with her, we scratched that record so that she could actually see herself with a child surrounded by light, the child at 18, looking happy, healthy, and looking back saying, hey Mum, I've had a wonderful childhood, I've had a wonderful life, I've just got my degree from uni, or whatever it is that she dreams about for that child. And to reinforce the positive dreams, because what happens is if we have a negative thought, it pulls us into the emotion, because that negative thought feels powerful. We make the mistake of linking it. Because it feels powerful, it must be important. And we give it far too much effort. And sometimes we ask, well, why am I thinking this? The why is not usually a useful question. A far better question is to train the brain by asking, what do I need to learn to move on? It's a solution-focused question. And by continually asking that over and over, first time you say it, the brain isn't going to answer it. It's going to think, you're talking to me? Huh? And it isn't going to answer. But if you're persistent and as you're obsessive about that, there'll come a point where the brain will start giving you answers and will start giving you a direction. And, you know, please get in touch with one of the therapists if you need extra help, or look at doing some self-help with some of the recordings. Because as I said, each one will help you to overcome step by step some of the issues in your faulty thinking. Great talking to you today. Bye now.